Welcome to another Friday Live with Jasmine. I'm your host, Jasmine Bryant from Fear No Video, the place where network marketers, coaches, and entrepreneurs come to help them get over their fear of being on camera so they can show up for their clients and potential clients, generate more leads, more sales, and therefore more income and more freedom. So, if that's you, definitely stick around. Today, we're talking about a visibility plan. And my thing that I will say to you forever and ever and ever and ever is when you're visible, you make money. And it is just a fact because our brains are wired to recognize video and process it 60,000 times faster than text. And 90% of people who purchase say it's because of a video that they saw. So that goes for whether you're, a brick and mortar, if you're selling something on Amazon, if you are a coach, network marketer, whatever it is you do, video is going to be your best friend. Now, you don't want to just do a video and slap it up on the internet and hope it works, right? You need to have a plan. You need a plan for visibility. You need a plan for every stage of your business. And so we're going to touch on all of that today. Excuse me. We're going to touch on all of that today because the visibility plan is something that's going to help you to increase your presence, increase your effectiveness online, and ultimately, again, the goal is to have more leads, more sales, more income, more freedom in your time and your life. So, you want to be seen by the right people. You want to be seen by the right people on the right platform. You want to be seen by the right people on the right platform, at the right time. So all of it needs a plan. Now you see these social media influencers and you see that they're posting all the time, and it may seem like they are just posting to post, or they are just there's no thought behind it, but I guarantee you they have a plan. There is a plan for everything that they post, and you should have a plan as well because your visibility will grow as people see you, but you need to have a plan to have that happen, okay? Now, one of the ways that you really want to one of the things you want to focus on is your brand identity. Okay? You want to focus on your brand identity. And this is going to be a clear image, a clear voice of who you are, what your brand is, and your business's core values. Now, you may be in a network marketing space where you're like, well, my brand is X, whatever your company is. That's your company's brand. That's not your brand. And so when you want to stand out in the network marketing space, you need to have a personal brand. You need to, I don't want to say you need to divorce yourself from your parent company, but people need to see you as the conduit to your parent company, the person who's the expert, the person who's going to help them with whatever the problem is that your company solves. So when I was with my network marketing company, I was selling essential oils, but my brand was Wellness by Jasmine because that's what I was teaching you was wellness and how to bring the essential oils into your wellness practice, whatever that looked like for the particular client. So when you came to me, you knew that you were going to get wellness tips and facts and all these different things. And there were some oils and different products that the company sold, um, built into that. And so you do the same thing. You need to be a brand, not, Susie who sells Norwex, right? That's not a brand. So you need to really be clear and you want to resonate with your target audience. So definitely know who your target audience is. And we're going to talk about that in just a minute. We're going to go into that a little bit deeper in a second. But I talked about your core values. So you definitely want to identify your company's core values. So, I'd get a pen and some paper and then start free jotting down things that you stand for, you believe, what you want to impart with your audience, what you think your audience believes as well. So that's something very personal. I can't really help you figure out what your core values are, but that's something that you're going to have to work on your own. Um, but after you've done that, like that's going to help translate to your messaging, because your messaging is really important. You need to tailor your message to your audience, the people you're talking to. And that's where knowing who you're talking to is so important. So you don't want to, there's a saying, when you're broad, you're broke, right? And that's just how it is. Everybody, I was there too. And I get there sometimes the same right now, but everybody wants to say, well, my product, my service helps everyone. I can help everyone. And yes, that's true. Your product or service can probably help, a multitude of people through a variety of lifestyles and types. However, you can't talk to the masses. You have to talk to one person. Okay, so one person. Doesn't mean if your target audience is a woman between 25 and 30 who is going into the second chapter of her career, doesn't mean that if someone who's 45 and a man comes to you, you can't help them if your product can help them. Yes. Doesn't mean you can't work with them. It just means, you know, you got lucky there. You need to talk to one person. Talk to one person. And then after you've done all of that, then you want to regularly reassess your your um, your brand identity to make sure, and your values and your goals to make sure that your messaging is still aligned with what it is that you want your brand to be. So, because, things can go off the tracks and it's really easy to not recognize that they've gone off the tracks. So, definitely you want to keep an eye out for that. Regularly reassess. Now, you want to have clear goals. So, set clear goals. I like SMART goals. I loved SMART goals when I was a wellness coach, and I still love SMART goals today. So, what are SMART goals? SMART. SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. And these goals are going to be different for each stage of your business. So you have the startup stage, you have the growth stage, you have the expansion stage. And so your goals are going to be different for each stage. Now, if you're in the startup stage, specific would be, I want to reach, I don't know, 30,000 people in the next 90 days. Um, and so you have, that there's your time bound as well. 90 days, you're time bound. But I would look at to see, is it achievable, and is it relevant, right? So you definitely want to look through that and see. Now, reaching 30,000 accounts or 30,000 people in 90 days might be achievable depending on your business and depending on where you are, the platforms and all that. And I'm going to show you in a moment how you can figure out those numbers, those KPIs, key performance indicators. Okay. But it's going to be different for each stage. And so when you're in the growth stage, you've been reaching people and now you're growing a little bit more, you're going to the next level, et cetera, then your goals are going to change a little bit. So you might want to, again, Pen and paper. I love pen and paper, you guys. I love the digital stuff, but I love pen and paper too. And so you'll want to write down what these goals are for each stage. And honestly, as you're going through your startup stage and maybe you have your goals written down for your growth stage, they may change and they may shift, and that's okay. You're allowed to pivot. Okay, you should pivot. You look at what your audience wants and what it needs from you, and you look at you look at the environment of the businesses as a whole. So your goals will change over time. Just because you write it down today for, next year or 2 quarters from now, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's written in stone. You can just cross it out and go with something else that's going to move your business forward because you've been looking at the trends and how your business is moving and how it's growing. And so that will determine whether or not your next set of goals are actually realistic and if your next set of goals are what your business needs. So you, again, this is why we're going to talk about analytics in a minute. Um, Choose your platforms. No, so as you're growing your visibility plan, part of that is choosing the platforms that you're going to be on. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about the different types of videos that you can do for different platforms. So if you didn't see that live, then I would highly suggest wherever it is that you're watching this on, whatever platform you're on, because we're on several, go back a couple of weeks and find that video to find out what YouTube wants, Instagram, LinkedIn, uh, TikTok, Facebook, what they want, because that's going to help you with your visibility plan. And just a really, quick, super quick primer on that. If you're doing longer form educational demonstration videos, then you're going to want to focus on YouTube because that's where people go to watch these longer form videos. Now, those 30-minute videos aren't going to fly on Instagram because people come to Instagram and TikTok and Facebook Reels for those quick, minute or less videos that just give them a taste. And look, people watch about 7 seconds. So they're never going to see your good stuff at 27 minutes in. So leave that for YouTube. Um, and when you're choosing your platforms, you also want to choose based on where your people are. So, say you are doing one of the things that I want to do that I kind of got talked out of, but I love the idea of it. Those art studios where people can come, these arts and craft studios, people can come and paint all day, or they learn how to do signs with a Cricut and wood and things like that, or you're doing like a paint and sip, all those different things. Well, your people are most likely going to be on Pinterest because they're interested in arts and crafts and DIY. So they're looking at Pinterest for inspiration. And they're probably on LinkedIn because they're the ones who have disposable income to spend, $100 or whatever it is to do a paint and sip with their girlfriends a couple times, a year, or even a couple times a month. So you'll want to post, mostly on Pinterest and LinkedIn. So know where your people are. If you are selling cosmetics, then you're probably going to want to do, quick cut tutorials on TikTok, which you can also use on Instagram in those reels, because your people are looking for, some quick inspiration. And then you can still do longer ones on YouTube because YouTube tutorials, people love YouTube tutorials. So you can definitely look there as well for your people. What I would do, and this was the subject of a video maybe 2 months ago, repurposing, is I would do a couple of long form tutorials, and then break those down into smaller vignettes that you can use on the social media platforms that want the shorter, quick videos. Okay. All right. So then as you're developing your content strategy, because that's the next thing. So you've defined your brand identity, not your network marketing company's identity, but your brand identity. You've set clear goals. You've identified your target audience. And I think I kind of skipped over that one a little bit. So your target audience is who you're going to talk to. You want to talk to one person. And I would pen and paper, write it down who it is that you are talking to. Give him or her a name, okay? Because that's who you're going to do your messaging around. So it will be, Susie, who is a she's a stay-at-home mom with two kids. um One is named Jack, the other is Mary, and they live in the Philadelphia suburbs. And you get the point, right? You get the point. You want to narrow it down, niche it down, and that's who you talk to, because people need to feel like they are being heard and they're being seen, and you can solve their problem. You're not trying to solve everybody's problem. You're trying to solve Susie's problem. Okay. And now you've identified your platforms. You've chosen your platforms that you're going to work on. So now you need to develop a content strategy. And so this strategy should align with your goals. It should align with your audience interests, which, because you've identified your target, you know what they want. And then you have a variety of content. So you want videos, you want blogs, you want infographics, and carousels, all the different things. And this is where, again, like repurposing comes into play. We talked about that again a couple months ago. So it's probably easier to find that on my YouTube channel, which is just at Fear No Video on YouTube, because I show you easy ways to repurpose your content. So you do it once and you use it like 30 different ways. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Um, and maybe have like monthly themes based on your audience needs, some seasonal events, product launches, things like that. I know with my network marketing company, there would be product launches like once a quarter. So you create a lot of buzz around that. And then you just kind of keep rolling with that. And it creates good engaging content, especially if you have something to look forward to. And then you want to schedule consistent posts, because and look, consistency doesn't necessarily have to mean it's every single day. It might be better to post every day, but you're also not a full-time social media marketer. So, be consistent, whatever you do. If you are planning to go live, then keep at it. Don't go live once and then say, oh, nobody watched. And then you don't go live again until like 6 months later, and you're like, oh, but nobody watched. Well, nobody watched because they didn't know they could expect to see you. So you want to be consistent with that. Now, with all of that, I did just, and I'm super excited about this, because this has been such a labor of love, let me tell you. But I just released a new 365 days of social media prompts. I just put the link in the chat comments. I was super excited about that. So it's 365 days of social media prompts for network marketers. The link is in the chat, and it covers everything from Instagram, Facebook, TikTok posts, LinkedIn posts, blog ideas. Um, it runs carousels. I mean, you name it, you have 365 prompts for you, and it's broken down by month. So this is May, so you can look through May and see, pick and choose what, what's there. Like there's some there for like May the 4th be with you for Star Wars fans, Star Wars lovers. So, you've got like a ton. I mean, a year's worth of content ideas. Oh, excuse me. Now I have the hiccups. I'm sorry. But you have a year's worth of content ideas, and it's on sale right now for just $19. So I would definitely jump on that. And the ideas are pretty good, if I say so myself. Um, I'll actually be giving a bunch of these to my social media VA to incorporate in her planning for some of my content. So that'll be pretty exciting. But you've got a lot there. So again, it's only $19. The link is the link is really ugly. So I put it in the chat. Yeah, I just finished it early this morning, you guys, and I'm just like, oh, I'm done. You should have heard the screams that went on in this house when I finally hit number 365. So you've got a lot there: lives, stories, reels, blogs, carousels. But all that is so that you can be consistently and actively engaged with your audience, and so it's fun, right? So you want to do that, like you want to engage through like comments. So when people comment on my posts, my lives, whatever it is, I always make sure to comment back, and it's me commenting. um so I always make sure to comment back. I reply, I ask questions, I answer questions. So that's helping to stay engaged. I'm not just, dumping content and bolting. You know, likes and shares, very important. I comment on, if I'm following you on social, I comment on your posts. Just same as you comment on mine. Because it helps you, it helps me. And I'm finding your stuff interesting, so I'm going to comment. um and Q&A sessions are really great to help boost engagement. I just had a great Q&A session with some of the speakers and the VIPs from my Fear No Video Summit that just finished up last week. So that was really fun to hear their questions, and honestly, what your audience is asking you, that is a great starting point for content, because if one person has that question, then more than one have that question, and that means that's a post. Okay, that's a post that you can do. And then contests are always great. I haven't run a contest in a while. I might have to do that. Do you guys want a contest? Like, oh, what could I give away? I don't know. I have to think about that. But if you guys want a contest, let me know. I love contests. So you have all those different things. So then, you know, we talked about briefly KPIs, which are key performance indicators. I'm a big advocate of knowing your numbers. And when you are making your visibility plan, knowing your numbers is going to be so important, because otherwise you don't know if, like, how things are being perceived. So, like, one of the questions that came up during the Q&A was, well, I'm posting, but I don't know if anybody is looking at it. So one of the things you want to do is look at your numbers. And all of the platforms now make it really, really easy to look at your numbers. So you can see these key metrics. How many people have you reached? It'll tell you, whether or not, like, the percentage of people who are your followers that are looking at your content, people who are not your followers looking at your content. It will also share with you watch time of your videos, how long they're watching, where they drop off, where people live. Like, that's really important. It was funny with one of the videos that I posted. I want to say like 70% of the audience for that video was not US based, which is where I am right now, but it was not US based. It was, I want to say they were in, gosh, where were they? I think they were somewhere in South America. And that wasn't an audience that I was looking for. So it was very, I don't know why. I don't know why, but it may be my coffee post actually. But most of my viewers were in South America, just different countries in South America. Um, so, it's really interesting to see where your videos and where your posts are resonating with people. And that may help you define your goals as well. And then also, shares and saves, because those are really important. Instagram loves shares, it loves saves. So it shows you how many people saved your comment, saved your content, how many people shared your content. So you have a lot that you can look for in these metrics. And the last thing we're going to talk about is scaling your visibility. And, having your own audience is great. You want to grow your audience. And honestly, as you're growing your audience, you also want to bring them into your world that you own, i.e., your email list. Because as we've seen, Facebook and Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, TikTok could be going away in 6 months. Um, Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn were down for hours. People get locked out of their business accounts for months. For months. If all of your audience is on Instagram and you have no way of reaching them, can you afford not to talk to your audience for 6 months? I can't. You can't either. So you need to have a way to get in touch with them. Um, but all that to be said, I digressed a little bit, but let me go back to scaling your visibility. So collaborations are so key. You can't be in business alone. Even if you're a solo entrepreneur, you can't be in business alone. You need other people. Other people need you. So collaborations with other creators are great. It increases your reach, it increases their reach. You're using each other's audiences. So in the next couple of weeks, you're going to start seeing me to go live with a midweek coffee chat. And every week we're going to talk with someone in business who is interesting. They have great things to say. What they're talking about can help you with your business and move your ball forward a little bit. And what's great for both of us, the other person and myself, is we are reaching new audiences. So, they'll be exposed to all of you guys, and I'll be exposed to all of their people, because we're going to go live together across all of our platforms. And so that's a lot of fun, because you never know who you're going to talk to. And I know I said you're talking to one person when you're doing your videos. And so now this is a different ball game, but your people may be among their people, and their people may be among your people. So it's really great to collaborate with people. And even if you're in the same industry, you attract different people. Because you're being authentic, because you're being who you are, you attract someone completely different than the next person who is in your same niche, because we're not all the same people, and not the same people are going to like all this. It's just there's enough to go around that you don't have to be in competition with someone who's in your niche. Because just because someone may like their personality or their way of doing business differently than yours, and maybe someone from their world may like how you do business differently than they do. So it's great to come together and collaborate and share ideas, share tips, share tricks, all of that. But anyway, so keep an eye out for the midweek coffee chats, because those will be fun. Excuse me, I'm getting the schedule for that right now. In the meantime, one last thing before we go. We have the 5 Days to Shine challenge. I'm going to put this in here. 5 Days to Shine. If you go to 5daystoshine.com, you can, there you go, 5daystoshine.com. It's 5 days. It starts Monday, the 6th of May. And by the end of these 5 days, you will have a video that you can share on your social media, all about your business, about you. And it's a really great way to break the ice, to get you moving, get you on camera, do all the things that you want to do that are going to help you to boost your business, boost your visibility. Things that might be afraid to do or you don't know how to do. We're going to go over tech, story structure, all these different things, and just how to create that very first video. And if it's not your first, there's still a lot that you can learn, and it's collaborative. So, everyone's going to help everyone else. So it's 5daystoshine.com. So head there, and actually let me put that in the chat too. Oh, it is in the chat. Never mind. But you definitely want to hop on there, because it's a really good program. Everyone who goes through it does really well. The people who don't do well are the ones who stop doing the work. But it's 5 days. You don't have 5 days to invest in your business. It's 1 hour a day, 5 days next week. So go to 5daystoshine.com and check it out. All right, my friends, we have come to the end of Friday Live with Jasmine. We talked about story structure. We talked about visibility plans, how to create a visibility plan, what should go in it, and how to scale it from startup to expansion. And I hope you have a great rest of your day and a fabulous weekend. And I hope to see some of you guys on Monday in the 5 Days to Shine challenge, because it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, my friends. Peace out.